Hi there everyone, welcome to Pour Painting with Ron. I hope you've been really well since the last time we saw each other. Anyway, what sort of painting are we going to do today? Well, there's one I haven't done in a little while, and that's a drizzle spun out bloom pour. So you may have seen one of my videos before of the rainbow coloured one, always really nice. But I thought today I would try out some different colour combinations, especially in the swipe colour that I do over the top. I'm not using white this time, I'm using two different colours just to see what happens. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing it on this thick edged 45 centimetre square canvas, and I've made sure it's nice and tight so I don't get the canvas sagging in the middle. And just like I usually do, I've taped off the back with some painter's tape and stuck in some giant push pins to keep the canvas off the surface of the table. Alright, now bloom pours, if you haven't seen one of my videos before or somebody else's videos on bloom pours, they're quite a little bit different to your normal everyday pour painting. We use a couple of different ingredients, and there are like 3 layers to the painting that you do need to get right for it to work properly. Now the base layer, all you need is plain ordinary white acrylic house paint. So I've got a great big can here. You go through a lot, so buy a big can. So it's just plain ordinary white acrylic paint, water-based paint. That's called your pillow. That's what the colours slide on. Then you have your colour layer on top of that. Now the pouring medium for the colours is made of 2 ingredients. Gloss varnish. I use Jo Sonja's gloss polyurethane water-based varnish. But if you don't have that one, I guess any water-based polyurethane non-yellowing varnish should work. So you need that. And you need some untinted house paint. So this is the same brand as my other paint, but at the bottom it says untinted and extra bright. I find the extra bright doesn't dull the colours of the paint. So you need some of that and some varnish. Now to make up the pouring medium, you need 3 parts of the paint to 2 parts of the varnish. So if you're measuring in grams, I usually do grams, 3 lots of paint to 2 lots of varnish in any amount that you want. Keeps for ages. Right, and then you add the paint to that pouring medium. Now the paint I'm using today is Jo Sonja's. So I'm using ultramarine blue and aqua and green light. So I want sort of like cool rainforesty type colours. Now you do want a high pigmented paint. Sort of one with not enough pigment in it is going to really fade out when you stretch it out. These are nice and bright. So to mix that into my paint, I have 1 part of my colour to 2 parts of my mixed up pouring medium. All right, and then the swiping layer at the very top that produces all your lovely lacing effects is a mix of Floetrol and Amsterdam paints. So I'm using Australian Floetrol. I'm using 2 parts of Floetrol to 1 part paint. Now, as I said, I usually use white, but today I'm going to contrast it with my rainforesty colours, and I'm going to do like hot colours as my lacing. See what it looks like. And I'm using their orange. What sort of orange? Azo orange and Naphthol red. So I'm using those 2 colours, and I've just mixed 1 part paint to 2 parts of Floetrol. So clear as mud. I'm sure it'll all become clear as we do the painting. All right, well, let's get started. Righto, here's my canvas all ready. Hopefully you can see that. Now I've just mixed up my colours in these squeeze bottles. They keep forever. You just give them a bit of a shake before you want to use them again. Works really well. So I think these cool colours together should look nice. The idea is like a rainforest with fire in it. That's the idea anyway, bit of an experiment today. So they're my colours, and then I've got my two colours here that I'm going to use as my swipe. You can see fairly liquid, so dribbles off the spoon. Some people like it really thin, like 3 parts Floetrol to 1 part of the Amsterdam paint. But I like it perhaps a little bit thicker. The lacing tends not to break as easily when you stretch it out, but whatever works best for you. I found the Amsterdam paints, they tend to work the best with this technique. All right, now first step is to put the pillow paint on. Don't be shocked at how much paint I'm pouring on the canvas. If you don't have enough, you can't spread your painting out. Now I'm sort of doing like a bit of a square shape. How are we going? A bit more. There we go. Don't know how many mils that is, but it is quite a lot. Probably no more than if you're doing a regular pour painting, I suppose, like a ring pour or something. Just popped a few air bubbles. The air bubbles make white spots in your painting, so the less vigorous you are with the mixing of your paint, the fewer air bubbles you're going to get. Okay, then I'm putting the colour layer on the top. Now I'll start with my dark colour and I'll do like a drizzle. Just like so. Is that sort of in the middle? Sort of. So there we have some blue. Hopefully I've got enough paint left to do another painting after this one. Then the aqua colour, it's really like a turquoise. Okay. And then the green. Ooh, that was a bit lumpy. Hopefully it was just an air bubble and not a lump coming out. All right, now that was the easy bit. We're sort of in the middle, sort of. I might actually put a little bit of white in the corners because they've got further to stretch. Oh, this can is full. It's a bit heavy. Yeah, that's better. All right, now you may be wondering how I'm going to get my cell activator or swiping stuff on the top. I could pour it on and blow it out with a blow dryer, but instead I'm going to put a little bit on this paint wall scraper, and I'm going to dip my palette knife into it and then swipe over my painting to create the lacing. So I may be out of camera, but you'll see what I'm doing in a second. So see what I've done there? I put a little bit of orange and a little bit of red next to each other. So dab it in. Make sure the knife is well covered. And then I push my paint out as I swipe across, like so. And then I just wipe off my palette knife. And then I do it again. So push the paint out. If you don't push hard enough, you don't get the lacing going very far. But you don't want to push all of your colour into the paint either. We'll see what it looks like. If it's yuck, I won't do it again. Like so. The lacing does take a little while to develop, so you don't have to be in a rush with this one. I hope I don't get mud. Put a little bit more paint on my spatula. Just get a paper towel. Just to wipe my palette knife on. So dip. Yeah. That's better. These little bits of colour here. Don't think I did very much there. A bit more colour. almost there. Okay. Now, I would normally let this sit for a couple of minutes and then spin it out in my little baby pool that you'll see in a little bit. Now, you could leave it like this, but what I like to do is run a skewer through it just to create some interesting effects like spiders, spider legs. So I'll find where my center is, about here. And I'll just run through like that. Create some interesting patterns. You don't want to overdo it. And one more here. Okay. It's looking quite interesting so far. I'll just go and wash up some of this stuff before the paint sticks to it, and then we'll be back and you'll see the spinning pool and we'll spin it out. Well, here we are. If you've seen one of my drizzle bloom pour paintings before, you'll notice that I have a new swimming pool. The other one was getting a little bit bedraggled and horrible, so from my local cheap shop I just bought a cheap ring blow-up pool. Works really, really well. Now I've lined it with some piddle pads I can chuck out. I've also put some bricks there to put my spinner on. To keep my thick canvases off the bottom of the swimming pool. So it spins really easy. It's just, what do you call it? A banding wheel, a plastic banding wheel. I think ceramic artists use it to spin their pots on. From my local art store, was just $17, I think. Works really well. And I put some double-sided masking painter's tape on there to hold my canvas in place. Now I'll just get my canvas and then we'll spin it out and see what happens. Here we go. Now I've just put this board on the top just to help things along a little bit. Useful for bigger canvases. I'll just give it a little bit of a turn to see where the middle is. Is it the middle? I think we're about right. Now let's give it a bit of a spin. Just to see what happens. Okay, it's going to be interesting. Oh yes, I think that's going to look pretty nice. Now, spin a bit quicker. All my corners are covered, cool. Hopefully my sides will get covered as well. How are we going? Are the sides covered? Almost all the corners are. How are we going? Well, that's looking cool. always get such lovely designs on the board. The corner's covered now, I think so. How's it looking? Will I do another spin? You don't want to overspin it. I think we're pretty good, I think. Maybe a little one. Okay, now I don't want to do any more because it's just going to get overstretched. Okay. Oh, well, that's really pretty. I like that one. Now, I'll just let it drip for a little bit. I think there's a little lump in there, but yeah, I might wreck it if I try to get it out. So I'll just have to leave it, I think. Okay, a couple of little white spots. Yeah, but that's not too bad at all. Cool. Now I'll let it drip and I'll put it back on the table and then I will bring you in for a closer look. Hopefully you can see that. I've got the camera above my head as usual. Now I'll just bring you down. It's the center of the painting. As you can see, we've got some beautiful lacing effects happening. So the red and the orange with the like tropical colors in between. I think it's just very lovely. So what did you think of that one? I think it turned out really nice. I'm happy with how the colour combination works in this painting. I really love this technique and perhaps it's one you'd like to have a go at yourself. Well, we've come to the end of another video, I'm afraid. So it's time for me to say goodbye and clean up. That's the not very fun part of the whole process. But anyway, if you enjoyed what you saw today, please take a moment to press the like button. And if you'd like to see more of my content in YouTube land, please take a moment to subscribe. Well, I hope you have a really good week ahead and I look forward to seeing you again next time. In the meantime, happy painting.